This is Johnny with Tiger Bomb MMA, and tonight I'll be going over UFC Fight Night, Makhachev versus Green for a catchweight bout. Very interesting card, top to bottom. No Jose this time, that's why you get to see my face. Today I am going as no Masvidal because I kind of look like Masvidal, but not really. Actually, funny story I'll tell you later about some guy that said that I look just like him, and it is in Vegas. It was weird. But we'll get started with this particular short notice card. It's kind of goofy top to bottom. I'm not even certain how the order is, but currently the first fight of the night taking place at flyweight is about between Victor Altamirano, El Magnifico, and Carlos Hernandez. And very close fight. Currently the odds have it in favor of Carlos Hernandez minus 120. Comeback on Altamirano is a plus 100. Both, well, one's Mexican, one's of Mexican descent, but they're basically both tough Mexican dudes. I'm interested to see how this really plays out because I'm not certain about this one. I thought I had a good lean on one, but I'm not really sure. Both of these guys are coming from the Contender Series. Both of these guys went to a split decision, and frankly, at the beginning when I'm looking at these cards and I'm looking at these guys from the Contender Series and I see that they went to split decision, I'm not sold on them. So I go back and I rewatch the fights. The one with Carlos Hernandez, at the time when I saw it live, I thought Daniel Perez won the fight, maybe because I was super biased because I had money on him. But watching it again, he won that fight. The fight between Victor Altamirano and Carlos Candelario. It's a lot of Hispanic names, man. That one, I personally still think that Carlos Candelario won that one. Victor Altamirano won the third round, but he did not win the first or second. It's an interesting bout between both these guys. I know Victor Altamirano a bit because I saw him fight in LFA against Nate Smith. He's a pretty solid guy. They're both nearly identical in the same type of I guess skill set. Both very good boxers. They both move forward. Good grappling. Nothing too crazy. Looking at my notes here, I think Altamirano is more of a kicker, while Hernandez is more of a boxer. This one, I'm not really leaning one particular side over the other because I think it's going to be a really scrappy back and forth fight between two Mexican guys. And if I had to really take a shot, I'd probably go with that. The fight would go the distance. I think both of these guys are scrappy, tough enough, and their cardio is equally as good for them to actually last all three rounds. I was kind of hoping to fade Hernandez because I know Altamirano's cardio is really good. He goes 5 rounds quite a bit of times. But no, actually, Hernandez's cardio is just as good. He actually pushed the pace quite well on his Contender Series fight against Daniel Perez. The thing about him, though, I'm going to go with Hernandez. The reason for it, I think he's trying to say tougher, scrappier guy, grittier guy. I think he's got really good boxing, really good movement, really good head movement. He's nothing all that great. Again, I think either guy could win. I really wish Hernandez was the underdog, but I'll go with Hernandez to win this one by decision. I think when it comes down to it, I think he'll be willing to do the grinding in that fight. I think Altamirano is a little bit too pretty. He does go for takedowns, but no, it's nothing too great. His takedown defense itself is a bit iffy, so I think if Hernandez pushes the pace and tries to go for takedowns late in the rounds, I think he can get them and then edge out the fight. So I'll go with Hernandez by decision. I preferably would bet going the distance if I had to bet this one, but I'll go with Hernandez by a decision. Next bout, short notice bout. Ramiz Brahimaj, I almost said his name wrong, versus Michael Gillmore. This is very short notice. It was supposed to be Johnny Parsons, another guy from the Contender Series, making his debut against the gentleman Michael Gillmore. But now we've got Brahimaj on short notice fighting Gillmore, who is dropping down from 185, so he's making his welterweight debut. To make it quick on this one, I'm going with Brahimaj by submission. I think Gillmore, his record is 6-4. He's 34 years old. He hasn't looked all that impressive in the UFC, although he does have some attributes that I like. He just came into the UFC too early. He was too damn tough in the Contender Series. He took fights or not the Contender Series, I'm sorry, in the Tough House. He took a fight really short notice. It did not work out for him, and now he's, fighting Ramiz Brahimaj. And I'll be honest, man, although I'm picking Brahimaj, I am hoping Gillmore wins this one because I think with a little bit more seasoning, he could be a pretty serviceable welterweight and putting on some exciting fights. He's a good striker, heavy low kicks, pretty clubbing type of dude, nothing all too great. His fight with Petrosyan, he was kind of beating Petrosyan on the feet, and then he was stuffing some takedowns. Eventually, Petrosyan does what he does, gets him to the ground and grounds him out. And the thing is, if you have bad cardio, I think Michael Gillmore can eventually beat your ass because he's all right. He's not bad, but he's a bit slow. I'm interested to see how this fight plays out on the feet, if he can stuff the takedowns of Ramiz Brahimaj, because that's what he's going to want to do, take it to the ground and submit him. I think he's going to do that in round number 1, just immediately go dive for the legs, get the rear naked choke on Michael Gillmore. We'll see. I'd like to see these guys in the face-off. I'm not going to put any money on Ramiz Brahimaj because he kind of let me down against Court McGee. It was essentially supposed to be a passing of the guards between Court McGee and Brahimaj. Brahimaj being essentially a younger version of Court McGee. Didn't work out. Got his ass beat for 3 rounds. So I'm going to pick Brahimaj to get back on track because I think he's the more skilled guy. Not on the feet, of course. He sucks on the feet. But if it takes it to the ground, if he takes it to the ground, I said it. This isn't one of those things. If he takes it to the ground, I think he's going to completely dominate Gillmore. So I'll go with Brahimaj by first round submission. Next bout, we have Alejandro Perez versus Jonathan Martinez at bantamweight. And, oh, wait, I didn't even read the odds for the Gillmore fight. No odds on that one yet, short notice. But Martinez versus Gillmore, we have Martinez as a minus 220 favorite. Comeback on Perez is a plus 180. This one bothers me trying to break it down because I'm interested in picking Martinez, but the odds are just too ridiculous. Automatically, I think there's a lot of value on Perez, even though I personally don't think Perez is all that great of a fighter. Having to rewatch some of their fights just to kind of break certain things out of the way. Both of these guys have been cracked. Both of these guys have been knocked out. Davey Grant knocked out Jonathan Martinez 2 fights ago, and 2 fights ago, Song Yadong completely blasted Alejandro Perez. Just looking at those pictures, those are essentially the moments before they got knocked out. I think even for Perez, that might have been right when he got hit with that overhand right. That just completely, like, I had to rewatch it a shit ton of times. That right hand that landed on Perez was absolutely beautiful. So go rewatch it if you haven't seen it. But the thing about Perez, he came back after a long layoff and he fought Johnny Eduardo. I picked Johnny Eduardo to win that fight, and it didn't work out. He won the first round. He was winning the second round until he made a stupid mistake, and then Perez capitalized and got the arm lock from like the crucifix position. The thing about Perez is that he's very tough. So regardless of both of these guys getting knocked out, they're both very tough. Perez is a dog. He's the more scrappier, grittier guy. Jonathan Martinez is the prettier guy. He's more calculated. He's got the kicks. This is basically a kicker versus a boxer. And it's hard to really break down. And I don't know if I can confidently tell anyone that I'm going to pick Jonathan Martinez or even lay chalk on Martinez to win this one when he has to have an absolutely perfect performance and staying on the outside and picking apart Alejandro Perez. And, Martinez has a lot of things in his favor. Improved takedown defense since the, I guess, fight with Davey Grant. I think Davey, he stuffed a couple takedowns. So he's had some better improving takedown defense since then, but it really showed off against Zavid Balishvili. He completely stuffed every single takedown, and any takedown he was Balishvili, that is, nearly completed, Martinez just got his legs out and proceeded to kick him in the face. This one's really tough. It's more of a dog or pass for me. The reason is because Martinez, he has excellent knees to the body, knees to the head. That rear left, is it the left? No, the rear right knee that comes up and cracks you in the mouth if Perez goes for a takedown is always a factor. Perez has some pretty fast hands. I'll give him that. And if he can make it a dogfight, I think he can crack Martinez. Or that's his best shot is to crack Martinez and knock him out. Logically, I still have to go with Perez. I don't like the odds at all. But I think, I'm sorry, not Perez. I have to go with Martinez. I don't like the odds on Martinez. I think Perez is a dog. So it's one of those, if you lay chalk on Martinez, one of those lay chalk, suck cock type of situations that if you lay chalk on Martinez, you're going to be clinching your ass every time Turbo Perez goes in there and starts throwing his like looping wild punches, hoping it doesn't crack Martinez. So don't put it on any parlays. Martinez has been known to ruin parlays in the past, so I'll go with Martinez to win this one. I think he's going to use his long teeps to the body, continue doing what he does best, and just staying on the outside. My biggest issue, though, is that he can be a little bit, inactive out there, and I think Perez has a chance in those situations where Martinez isn't doing anything and just kind of calculating shit, that he can maybe edge out the rounds. It's a tough one. I'll go with Martinez. I think he's on a better trajectory. He looked really good against Lashishvili. Shit's hard, those Georgians. Yeah, Martinez by decision. Next bout, I'm very much looking forward to this bout. We've got Frey versus Hannah Goldy, the sexiest fight of the card at strawweight. And the odds are in favor currently of Frey at -180. Come back on Hannah Goldy is +155. OnlyFans. If you like Hannah Goldy like I like Hannah Goldy, check out not even her OnlyFans. Just go to Google and type in Hannah Goldy OnlyFans. I much approve. I like also Frey. I've had a thing for Frey. I think she's one of the most beautiful women in MMA. Very smart. I would say I respect her more than Hannah Goldy for obvious reasons, because she doesn't take her clothes off for money. Interesting bout at strawweight. Hannah Goldy came back after losing to Belbita and got a submission over Emily Whitmire. She got an armbar, but she did not look good. She was getting dominated by Emily Whitmire. Frey, on the other hand, I've picked against her every single time, despite the fact that I love the woman. I keep saying, I think she can win, but this is going to happen. Or I think she could win, but I think this is going to happen. I keep saying that against Ashley Yoder. I picked against her because I thought Ashley Yoder was going to use her length and keep Frey away. Frey, essentially, anytime she touched Ashley Yoder, it hurt her. And I'm done picking against Frey. I hope it doesn't bite me and her in the ass, because I'm going to go with Frey. She's a much more experienced fighter. I would say they're both very strong, but Frey, I think, she's got the mom strength. Hannah Goldy, she's also a mom, but she's got all these muscles, but I just don't think of her as being the more physically stronger woman in this fight. They're actually roughly the same height, 5'3" for Frey and 5'4" for Hannah Goldy. I'm interested to see the stand-up battle, and if anyone takes it to the ground, I think it's going to be Frey, because she's the smarter of the two. She's very, very intelligent, this woman is. I respect the shit out of her. She's very beautiful. I've got a thing for her. And for Hannah Goldy. So I'm like, oh shit, this is the best fight of the card. But I'll go with Frey to win this one by a decision. I think she's just going to do what she does best and just use her Muay Thai skills and her grappling ability. If she needs to get it to the ground, I don't see any issues with her doing so. Emily Whitmire, if I remember correctly, what did she do? A simple hip toss, like continuously doing the same move to Hannah Goldy and kept dropping her down. Let me see if I have any notes here. Yes, because Hannah Goldy will be 3-1 in her last 4 fights. Expect to see her on Pornhub with her husband, which is, I think, Alex Nichols. So if you want to see his dong, you might be seeing it soon. But yeah, I'll go with Frey to make it 3 in a row. And our next bout at lightweight, we've got Terrence McKinney versus Firas Ziam. This one, it's been postponed quite a bit, and the odds are in favor of Ziam. I didn't realize that. Minus 135 comeback on McKinney is a plus 115. That's interesting. I didn't realize that Faraz, the smile killer, was going to be favored. I didn't read the odds. Plus 115 on McKinney, a guy who's had multiple first-round knockouts and multiple knockouts in general, and finishes on a 4-fight finish streak against Faraz Ziam, primarily a elusive striker. This one's interesting to break down. I had the same thought about Ziam. I thought, hey, man, McKinney's got a lot of hype on him. He's if you follow him on Twitter, he can be a bit annoying. I don't dislike the guy, but it's like he says a lot of the same shit about, surviving, nearly dying and whatnot. And with a lot of hype behind certain fighters, it can kind of mess with their training, blah, 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 blah. So I'm thinking, is there a chance I can fade McKinney? It's like, I kind of take it personal sometimes because I like the guy and I want him to win, but I have to think logically. I think for us, CM definitely has a chance to win this fight by doing what he did against Luigi Vendramini, just staying on the outside, picking him apart. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think there's a lot of value on Terrence McKinney at plus 115. I don't think it's going to stay 115 for very long. I think people are going to blast Terrence McKinney because I like his grappling. I mean, the guy, if you look at his grappling, you mainly focus on the knockouts because he came into the UFC and knocked out Matt Favola easily, 1-2 down the pipe, knocked him out, easy peasy, but his grappling is pretty damn solid. And yeah, you'll see that he lost to Derek Minner by a triangle choke. Shit happens sometimes. Derek Minner does that. This was on the local scene. I think Terrence McKinney, he's on a very good trajectory right now. My only concern is that the mental side of it, if he's not all there, if he's not all fully committed, I think he is, but if for whatever reason he's having an off day, I think Faraz Ziam is going to pick him apart. But I'll go with McKinney. I like what he brings to the table. He's got a great wrestling pedigree. He's got the power behind his strikes, head kicks, punches down the middle. I think he's a more complete fighter right now. I think Ziam, he does have the ability to grapple, but I don't think he has the better grappling here. I think if Terrence McKinney takes the back, he's going to submit for Ziam. I mean, if you even go back and look at his fight with what's-his-face, I can't remember his name, that alien-looking dude, tall, tattoo on his stomach. What is his name? Sean Woodson. I kept forgetting his name. He looks like an alien. But yeah, if you look at his fight with Sean Woodson, he was dominating the ground. That was a very tall opponent as well. Faraz is 6'1" compared to the 5'10" of Terrence McKinney, and it's only a 1-inch reach disadvantage for McKinney. If he can do the same thing to Faraz Ziam without getting kneed in the face, I think he wins this fight by a decision. I think he's on the right path right now. I wouldn't blame anyone for taking a shot on Faraz. I think it's really close, but dog money on Terrence McKinney, a wrecking machine right now. I'll go with McKinney to win this one by a submission in round number 2. Next bout, I'm looking forward to this one. Josiane Nunes versus Ramona Pascual. I don't think there's any odds on this one currently because it's very, very, very short notice. This one's easy to break down. I did a bunch of research, too much research, more than enough research on Ramona Pascual to give you an idea of what's going to happen in this fight. The odds are probably going to be ridiculously in the favor of Josiane Nunes because of what she did to her previous opponent. God rest her soul and her concussed brain. We do have odds. Excellent. Odds are currently minus 325. Comeback on Pascual plus 250. A lot better than I thought they were going to be. I thought it was going to be like minus 500 for Nunes. But back to the story here, Bimalecki, she completely wrecked Bimalecki to the point that I know I'm joking around, but she's suffering from concussion issues. Last I checked on Twitter or something, she posted something about her having issues after a knockout, and it's a good narrative for this fight that Josiane Nunes can concuss girls at 145. This was supposed to take place at a different weight class, 135, I believe. But because Pascal's coming in on short notice, it's 145. Nunes, she's a wrecking ball, man. She goes forward. She finds your chin. She's very active. She's 8-1. What was that one loss? She lost to somebody. Who was it? She's currently in the UFC. She's very good. What the hell's her name? Talia Santos. She lost to Talia Santos. That's her only loss. I tried fading this girl against B. Malecki because I'm thinking to myself, she's so fucking short. B. Malecki's tall. She's a kickboxer. She found the range. She found the chin, and she did her job. She's fighting a girl, cute girl, I'll say. 6-2 record. Watching all the tape I could on her. Let me bring this up. Very, very, very hittable is what I wrote down. Let's see. Cindy Dandois-esque with her striking. Sloppy striker, decent knees. A lot of her knees come up against the clinch. She actually got a TKO against Shamir Peshua. All I could think about when watching that fight was that this Shamir chick, who was like 2-0 at the time, had a pretty big booty. And that's all I could think about. And eventually Pascual gets the knockout in the first round, just kind of knees her in the body. She started MMA very, very late in her career, I would say, 27. She's 33 now. She's only got a handful of years in the sport. You can tell based on watching her. She actually won a fight, which was a 2-round fight in, what was it? It was in Road FC, where she won a fight that only had 2 rounds in it. I'm not sure how that works, but she's not very good. She's here as a sacrificial lamb for Josiane Nunes. Nunes by knockout is going to happen in the first round. I'm going to blast that round number 1 knockout and then just knockout in general. Ramona, can she win this one? The only way she can win this at that price tag, minus 250 or plus 250, is if Josiane Nunes gets exhausted beating the absolute shit out of Ramona Pascual in the first round, that the 2 later rounds, second and third, Ramona just completely dominates by just taking down Nunes and just softly hitting her in the head because she has no power. That's the only way she wins this. Nunes by knockout, round number 1 is the play for me. Next bout at lightweight, we have Zhu Rong versus Ignacio La Jaula Bahamondes. And currently the odds are in favor of Bahamondes, minus 260. Comeback on Zhu Rong, plus 210. This one was interesting because it's 2 strikers. One is primarily a volume guy, which is Bahamondes, and Zhu Rong. I've had my issues with Zhu Rong, but he is a power guy. And those odds suck, man. I don't like minus 260 on Bahamondes, mainly because the dude is very, very hittable. What did I write about him? He's got great striking, top level striking, but very low level defense. Like Roosevelt Roberts was touching him up with the jab, cut him up. That fight with John Makdessi, I hated that fight. I had money on Bahamondes, and he just did not perform. Being the bigger guy, longer reach, he doesn't use it very well sometimes. He just goes in forward and tries to bang with you. Zhu Rong, on the other hand, he's gotten better since his first fight. I mean, he did beat a guy on short notice in Brendan Jenkins. He looked fine. He utilized some wrestling, some ground and pound. When he connected, you could tell that it was making a mark on Brendan Jenkins. So I'm worried that if you're going to lay chalk on Bahamondes, you will be sucking cock, because Zhu Rong will probably knock him out, because it's going to be that type of fight. The output of Bahamondes versus the power of Zhu Rong. And if Bahamondes is landing 40 strikes to Zhu Rong, say 10, and then Zhu Rong just hits that extra 11th punch and knocks down Bahamondes and then gets on top, that's going to look favorable for the judges. Although I'm not certain that's going to exactly happen. But if it does happen, all that work that Bahamondes put in with the, punches to the head, body, kicks to the legs and such, all that's going to go out the window, and he's going to lose the round if he doesn't get knocked out. So I don't like this particular fight or price tag. It's really tough. It's a dog or pass. But if I had to give a pick, just because like both of these guys, I can't trust either of them. I think Bahamondes has the ability to correct his style opposed to Zurong. Zurong, we've seen him not engage enough to realize that that's probably his style. He's just going to continuously wait and try to find the perfect, punch or counter. Bahamondes, on the other hand, he's very active. He will continuously go forward, and he just has to correct the output a little bit, reduce the output, and defend more. And I think he still wins this one because, to me, just kind of throwing a number out there, it's like the output difference is like maybe 20 to like 5 between the two. Bahamondes throws a lot more in those certain movements where he's throwing. He leaves himself open to get countered. That's where Bahamondes or Zurong could counter Bahamondes. If Bahamondes kind of reduces that output to like say 10 to 5, I think he still wins that one. He's a lot more protected. He's not just kind of throwing recklessly in there. And I think he wins the fight. But we'll see. There's a lot of dudes that say, hey, oh, this guy's going to win, but I think this guy could win if he does this. That's how it is sometimes, man. Like, I'm not touching this bout because I think it's too damn close. Those odds suck. Bahamondes should not be a minus 260 whatsoever, but I'll take him to win. I won't be betting him at all. And before we break down the main card, I want you guys to like, share, subscribe to Tiger Bomb MMA. As I mentioned, when I was in Vegas one time, I, had the long hair, which is going to get cut soon, so they'll get used to it. I'm a good guy. I'm donating it to kids with cancer or whatever. But I was in Vegas. I had like a floral shirt on, like a pussy. And I'm talking to some guy about, I think it was the first time Masvidal fought, what's his fucking face? Usman. And I'm talking about like, yeah, I'm just going to put a couple bucks on Masvidal. You never know what happens. Usman's striking wasn't really as revered as it was at that time. And the guy's like, oh, I wouldn't bet Masvidal. But funny enough, you look like Masvidal. And then after that, we kind of chummed it up a bit. He took me out just to party a little bit, took me to a strip club. And there was a moment where he told one of the strippers, like, hey, do you know who Jorge Masvidal is? And one of the strippers says, yeah, I've heard of him. And she pointed at me. He's like, he's over there. And then they like flip the fuck out. And they're like, oh my God, you look a lot thinner than you look on TV. And I'm like, yeah, what it is. Just kind of got me on the spot. But yeah, so I've once impersonated, poorly that is, Jorge Masvidal. I was like, yeah, man, I was fucking fighting these holes and shit. And then gets you a free lap dance. But moving on. Main card opener. Oh, shit. I'm excited about this one. Gregory Rodrigues versus Armen Petrosyan, taking place at middleweight. This bout, I'm like, holy shit. Like, just gets me giggity inside. But currently the odds are in favor of Rodrigues, minus 175. Come back on Armen Petrosyan is a plus 150. It's two strikers. I shouldn't say that. That's not fair. Essentially two strikers. Gregory Rodrigues is very good with his jiu-jitsu, very, very good jiu-jitsu practitioner versus a straight kickboxer with really good takedown defense and a get-up game. So Petrosyan, just to kind of get it out of the way, because I love this guy. After watching him in the Contender Series against a undefeated, what is he? He wasn't Russian. He's an undefeated of, what is he? Damn it, because it would have been way more impressive if he was a Russian. He is a Bulgarian fighter. Good enough. He fought an undefeated Bulgarian fighter at the time, and the way he fought him was beautiful. It's the type of shit that I love to see as a fighter. When you bet a guy that's getting taken down and he gets some space, this guy personifies what I love to see, and that is be active and throw a shit ton. Because the moment they had any space, Petrosyan just lit him up, like almost as if this was the last minute of the final round and he had been dominated the entire time. Even though it was the first round, he acted as if his life depended on it, and I absolutely loved it. He got taken down multiple times, got back up, and then he just completely, I guess, luckily his name is Petrosyan, like petrol, I guess, because he exploded on this dude. knocked him out with a knee and then followed up with punches against the cage. It was absolutely phenomenal. Gregory Rodrigues, this is a guy I have continuously bet on since he arrived in the UFC. Bet on him against Dusko. Can't remember the odds. It was plus money, but he cashed there. Bet on him against Jun Yu Park. He had some scary moments there, but he looked really good. Took Park down, controlled him with the jiu-jitsu. He looked amazing until he didn't, until he got cracked in the mouth, which is always a concern when you're betting Gregory Rodrigues. If he's fighting a guy that can strike, you better pray to God he finishes it early. I mean, he hits hard. He ended up knocking out the Iron Turtle, Jun Yu Park, but it was like, holy shit, that was a sweat storm. Man, because I'm like, oh no, Gregory Rodrigues, get away from the cage, Gregory. And then eventually he cracks Jun Yu Park and finishes him up against the cage. Like, it was like, holy shit, like you can finally breathe again. Gregory's going to have to take Petrosyan down immediately because Petrosyan's in here to win this fight. He's going to come in here gung-ho, Suicide Squad. He's going to go in there and try to knock out Gregory Rodrigues, and Gregory is a chinny guy. I will say Petrosyan has been knocked out by a subpar fighter, and it is what it is. Like, he got cracked. He was a little overconfident. He came back from that. He's been training in Dagestan, training his wrestling. He's got a good get-up game. What did I write about him? Do not give this guy space. It's going to start off on the feet. I can even see Petrosyan winning this fight immediately. I'm going to go with Petrosyan to win at plus money. I'm actually going to pick him to win, possibly by like finish knockout. I would say the best option is that this fight does not go the distance, because say Arman doesn't get the knockout, say Gregory Rodrigues implants a chin because he's RoboCop and he's able to take punches. If that happens, I see Gregory potentially just getting it to the ground and submitting Petrosyan, despite the fact that Petrosyan's get-up game and wrestling defense is getting better. Gregory's really fucking good. So I would say the safest bet inside the distance, probably the best option, but I will personally be going with Arman Petrosyan. I like this guy, and I think Gregory Rodrigues' 4-fight winning streak is coming to an end. I mean, he's physically gifted, but Jesus, dude, like, his chin sucks. Jordan Williams knocked him out. Jordan fucking Williams knocked him out. That's how he got into the UFC. Gregory, I can't trust your chin. I'm going with Petrosyan to win this one, first round knockout. Next bout, why is this not the co-main event? I'll never know. Arman Tsarukyan versus Joe Alvarez, taking place at catchweight. No, it's at lightweight. They're probably going to both miss weight, but we'll see what happens with this fight. Joe Alvarez has missed weight. Arman Tsarukyan, I can't remember who he missed weight with, but he missed weight as well. So it's like, we'll see how that turns out on the scale. I'm deathly afraid this fight doesn't happen. So, shit, I just jinxed it. I'm worried that one of these two guys isn't going to make weight. I think they will. I think they're both like, fuck, we fucked up. I think after his issues, Petrosyan, god damn it, not Petrosyan, Tsarukyan, these Armenians get me mixed up. Tsarukyan learned his lesson. Joe Alvarez better have fucking learned his lesson, because we can't be having that. This one on paper is super fucking close. The odds currently have it in favor of, let's find the odds. Can't seem to find them. Why are they not up? Interesting. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Tsarukyan is going to be a significant favorite. Maybe like around, I would say above minus 250, minus 200 range. So as I was breaking down tape on these guys, I was thinking to myself, like, damn, Joe Alvarez is very physically gifted. He's 6'3", 77-inch reach, very sharp elbows, as we learned against Thiago Moises. But his takedown defense is kind of shitty. One thing I noted was that every single time in the UFC that Alvarez was taken down, he has won the fight by finish. So, for example, his first win in the UFC was Danilo Belluardo, which I'll get to that particular point in regards to his takedown defense, but it went to the ground. He got a sweep, ended up finishing it with ground and pound. Joe Duffy went for a takedown. He snatched up the neck, got the guillotine. Easy night for Alvarez. That was like a pretty good back and forth low calf kick affair before I guess Joe Duffy said, enough is enough. I'm going to go get submitted. Alexander Yakovlev took it to the ground, got submitted by armbar. And Thiago Moises didn't touch the ground, eventually finished it. But yeah, every single time Alvarez has touched the ground or he's been on his back, he has won the fight. And Tsarukyan's primary game plan has always been the wrestling, but it looks as if his hands have really gotten sharper. Came into the UFC and he fought Islam Makhachev. Very good back and forth grappling affair. Probably one of my favorite grappling matchups I've seen. First ever grappling matchup. My top one would be Paul Harris versus Alan Belcher. Probably my favorite grappling match ever. They just completely went on the ground. Alan Belcher just completely blasts Paul Harris with elbows at the end of that. So with this particular matchup, I was kind of thinking, man, if Alvarez is a dog, can he win this one, and how does he win it? Obviously with his jiu-jitsu. But when watching tape on Alvarez, although he's improved with the striking and he's very long, he uses his kicks very well, he hits hard. His elbows and knees are just beautiful. He pump fakes the knee very well. Danilo Belluardo got him down and was able to control him for about 2 rounds. And I don't know who the fuck Danilo Belluardo is, and I don't think he has the type of wrestling that Tsarukyan has. And I think this fight, although I really like Alvarez and I want him to win, I think Tsarukyan is going to survive. And the reason I say survive is because Alvarez is going to throw up a lot of submissions, arm bars, triangles, but I think Tsarukyan is smart enough and he's going to really be heavy on top and continuously get takedowns against Joe Alvarez and edge this fight by a unanimous decision. I would say 29-28 at the very, very least. I would even say he has a chance of getting a 30-27 just based on like what he does and how he defends Alvarez. I really, really like this matchup. It's so much so I don't even want to bet on it. I just want to enjoy it because, again, I hate being this asshole. I really see ways Alvarez can win this one if he just attacks the lead leg. But I'm confidently picking Tsarukyan to win this one by decision. Like, very biased because I really want Alvarez to win. I really want Alvarez to win, but I think Tsarukyan is going to do what he does. I mean, I even see him striking a bit with Alvarez, and if it gets too hairy, plan B is take down, hold him down, win a decision. I'll go Tsarukyan reluctantly because it pains me. So I want Alvarez to win. I got Tsarukyan to win this one by a decision. Next bout at 125 pounds, Priscilla Cachoeira versus Ji Yeon Kim. What a terrible fight. I don't know why this is being listed on the main card. Let's just talk about it real quick. Currently, the odds are in favor of Ji Yeon Kim, minus 190. Come back on Cachoeira Zombie Girl, plus 160. Let's see what I got here for notes. Cachoeira, brawler with power. She sucks, but she can bang. Let's see. Dirty fighter, eye gouger. She gouged the eyes of Gina Mazzani and Jillian Roberts. What are you going to do? She's trying to win. She hits hard. She goes forward. She hits hard. Ji Yeon Kim, she's a better technical striker, but she kind of leaves herself open. She's long reach. Doesn't really know how to use her reach. Molly McCann really closed the distance on her. So Cachoeira can definitely do that because that's all she can do is just close the distance and then try to knock her out. She has better footwork, but it's women's MMA. I'm taking the dog. I'll take Priscilla Cachoeira. As you can tell, I don't really care about this matchup. I really hope they reconfigure this so it's on the early prelims so I don't have to really watch it in the main card. But I do think it's a dog or pass situation. Cachoeira, I think she wins this one. Just being the dirtier, literally the dirtier fighter. and just kind of catching Ji Yoon Kim. I mean, yeah, logically, Ji Yoon Kim, like logically, let's talk about this like legit. Logically, Ji Yoon Kim should go out there, maintain the distance, use her better footwork and striking, and edge out a decision. But that doesn't really work sometimes. We saw that with Jessica Rose Clark, where she is the better striker, but she's like, hey, let me fucking get armbarred by a judoka. Let me get in close. I'm salty as shit because I lost the possibility of winning the total of like 10 units tonight after the Jamal Hill versus Johnny Walker, which is, again, shit, man. I'm pissed. I'm very pissed. The guys from the Discord know what I'm talking about. A lot of those guys also picked whatever. But logically, Ji Yoon Kim should win this one. Logic does not exist in women's MMA. Cachoeira knockout round number 2. Next bout, our co-main event at welterweight, Misha Cirkunov versus Wellington Turman. And currently the odds have it in favor of Misha Cirkunov. I don't know why, but it's a minus 120. Comeback on Turman is a plus 100. This one, I don't know what to really say. Why is it the co-main event? I don't know. Maybe they're trying to keep a trend with the really shitty co-main events. It should have been Tsarukyan versus Alvarez, because that has actual implications for possible like number 1 contender fights down the line. These guys win. I don't know who they fight. The ghost of Phil Haas, perhaps. But this one's interesting. Misha Cirkunov, we know he dropped down for 205. He was getting his ass beat. He was very chinny at that weight. Drops down. I took a shot on him against Jotko. I don't even want to say that Jotko outpointed him because it was very even, and it went into a split decision. And, I was praying to God, like, please let Cirkunov win. But no, it wasn't my day. Cirkunov did not win. He did not look great. He looked very tentative on the feet. He could not get a takedown. He didn't look great in that fight. And yeah, maybe he should be the favorite because if he takes it to the ground, I think his grappling is on paper better. But I think Wellington Turman wins this one by a decision, if not maybe even a knockout in certain rounds. He can probably catch him in round number 1. But logically, I mean, Turman, he's 25 years old. He's going to have a lesser reach by 5 inches. And he trains with the champ, Glover Teixeira. I feel like he's going to have the adequate grappling and grappling defense to withstand Misha Cirkunov. I think he's going to have the better cardio. He's going to be the better striker. And it's a dog or pass situation for me. I know a lot of people were picking Turman to actually beat Rodolfo Vieira as an underdog because, Rodolfo Vieira, after that stunt that he pulled against Fluffy Hernandez, you're like, it could happen again. And I think, although I'm not high on Wellington Turman, I see spots where he can have a lot of success against Misha Cirkunov. I think he can really defend the takedowns, land just enough strikes to win the decision. Cirkunov, of course, has to take it to the ground and try to work his submission game. I mean, he's a strong guy. We'll see how this one goes. I'm not a fan of this one. I might, watch something else when this one happens. I'm not touching this one either, but I'll go with Turman to win this one by decision, maybe another split decision in his future. Our next bout at a catch weight of, what is it? Catch weight of 160? Yeah, catch weight of 160. We've got Islam Makhachev versus Bobby King Green. Fucking Bobby Green taking a short notice bout is the most Bobby Green thing Bobby Green's ever done. He kicks ass. I gotta say this. I hope they paid him. I hope they put another 0 on his paycheck and gave him an extra bonus. I hope they gave him a new set of fucking jewelry. I hope they bought him a new car and a new house. He deserves it after that performance that he had, I should say, against Nasrat. Now he's going to fight Islam Makhachev on short notice. What a fucking guy. I don't have much to say about this because we all kind of figure what's going to happen. Like, on short notice, as much as I love Bobby Green, it ain't going to happen. Islam Makhachev, he's a minus 270 comeback on Bobby. King Green is plus 500. I love Bobby Green. His boxing is beautiful. He's crisp. He's a great grappler as well. He's not a scrub with the grappling, but Islam Makhachev training specifically to essentially grapple with God damn it, how can I forget his name? Like, it's escaping me. Why can't I remember the man's name? I love the guy. Maybe it's just the lights are kind of too bright. Oh boy, Beneil Dariush. What a fucking comment that I'm a dumbass for not remembering Beneil Dariush. I deserve it. But he's been training to fight Beneil Dariush, who's an excellent jiu-jitsu grappler, excellent striker. Damn, man, I hate to say it, but yeah, Makhachev is just really going to rinse and repeat. He's probably going to get a submission on Bobby Green. I really hope Bobby Green wins, though. I really want him to knock out Islam Makhachev. Do I believe it could happen? 100% absolutely. I believe it could happen. So much so that I'm going to put a little bit of money on Bobby Green to win this one, because ride or die with Bobby Green. I've done that a couple times. They don't always pan out, but ride or die with Bobby Green. I think he's going to put up a good fight, but Makhachev, he's going to do what he does. You know, I don't really have to explain it. He's basically Khabib version negative 0.5. Like, he's just not as good as Khabib, but he's Khabib essentially. And I think he's good enough to beat Bobby Green. It sucks to say, but I think Makhachev realistically is going to win this one. Props to Bobby Green. Just like Dan Hooker, he took the fight. They paid him his money. I hope they paid Bobby Green every single fucking cent that he deserves, which I'm pretty sure they did. So I'll go with Islam Makhachev. Realistically, I'll say, man, I want to say like maybe a third round submission. He's going to take Bobby Green down consistently. I mean, Bobby Green's probably going to get up a couple times in the first and second round, but after the third round, I think Makhachev is going to have a feel for what Bobby Green is doing, eventually sink the hooks in and get the rear naked choke. I hope I'm wrong, though. I really do hope I'm wrong. But I'll go with Makhachev, round number 3, rear naked choke submission. And yeah, I don't have many parlays for this particular card. If I do, you can follow me on the Discord. I'll probably post them there, just to kind of give you an idea of how I did for the previous card, the Walker versus Hill. Is it Hill? Yeah. I kept calling him a Hall all day. Jamal Hall. It just sounded better, but Jamal Hill. I have them right here. These are all the bets that I lost, and I'll give you an idea of how good my parlays were, but one little stupid mistake ruins that. So I had Belbita and Gloria de Paula to go the distance, which it covered. I had Onama to win straight. It covered. Mario Bautista to win. Covered. Jonathan Pierce to win. Covered. Jamal Hill to win. Covered. Jessica Rose Clark versus Stephanie Eggers to go over. Did not cover. I was fucking pissed. I was actually waiting on a guide. I was selling him my old microphone. Dude never showed up. The ESPN app sucked, and it crashed, and I couldn't see the fight. So when I finally checked and I saw that she lost in the first round, I was pissed. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, those have been my picks for UFC Fight Night. Makhachev versus Green. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, follow the Twitter, follow the Discord, follow the Instagram. Leave a comment if I hadn't said that already. Johnny from Tiger Bomb MMA. And as I leave, you always remember, fuck Olberg.